Welcome into the Creighton Basketball Newsletter, the video version. I'm Jon Nyatawa. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Hopefully, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the Creighton Newsletter. It's really easy. Omaha.com/newsletters. You'll see the button there to click, and you'll start getting the weekly alerts, the weekly updates from me, the Creighton basketball beat writer here at the World-Herald. A lot of just exclusive content that doesn't necessarily fit in the newspaper format, but is still good stuff for you, the Creighton fan, to read and learn about your team. So obviously a new one this week, and we'll try to keep them pumping out as long as the Jays are rolling. And now they're in the NCAA tournament. This is the time of year that's obviously awesome for anyone who follows college basketball, but for the Creighton players too. Like, this is what they were for. They're looking forward to it, and they hope that they can shake off whatever the lingering effects from Saturday's disappointment against Georgetown. A big disappointment. Don't let me downplay it. They got beat pretty soundly by the Hoyas. I think there was a 46-8 run in the middle of that game, which is like almost unheard of. But yeah, Creighton got outplayed, got out hustled, got out schemed, and outperformed, obviously, for the vast majority of that game. So it's disappointing, but I guess the silver lining for the Jays is that they have March Madness now, and if ever you were going to be able to turn the page, now would be the time to do it because of the possibility and the sort of second chance nature that the NCAA tournament provides. As long as you're in, anything can happen. So it doesn't matter what happened before. You just hope to be playing your best basketball when you step on the court for round one and beyond. So we'll see what the Jays can do. I have put together 3 keys for Creighton going into the weekend. Obviously, Creighton opens up against UC Santa Barbara in the first round. And if the Jays were to win that game, they'd play either Virginia or Ohio. Now, I'm recording this on a Monday, so it's possible, not likely, but possible, that Virginia, because of the COVID issues it's dealing with, could back out or be forced out of the NCAA tournament and then replaced by Louisville, I guess, is the next team on the replacement list. But it sounds like Virginia's going to try its best to at least have some team ready, maybe not all the players, but some team ready to travel to Indianapolis and play. And if more positive tests pop up between now and Tuesday is the deadline for the replacement team, then Virginia would be out. And but if the tests come up in on Thursday or Friday, then Ohio gets the no contest victory and advances to the second round without playing a game. So Tuesday's kind of that checkpoint to look for. But obviously, Virginia is not necessarily in the clear until it actually plays the game on Saturday. So, obviously, it's something to monitor. But Creighton can't look ahead just yet because UC Santa Barbara is the first opponent, and the Gauchos are good. They're a 12 seed, certainly, and a mid-major team that hasn't necessarily been tested. Like, Creighton will be the best team that they've played all year by a considerable margin, but they've won games, and they've done it in impressive fashion. So they're a veteran group. They've got some good athletes, some size inside, and they have that sort of winning culture. And so you got to, obviously, if you're Creighton, you don't want to underestimate them, and I don't think that the Jays will. Ja'Cory McLaughlin is the guy to watch for UC Santa Barbara. The offense kind of runs through him. I mean, he's a tough shot maker, for one. He can create his own shot off the bounce, but he also looks for others and sets his teammates up really well. He just has a good feel for the game. Like, I think he could average like 25 points a game if he wanted to, but he doesn't. I mean, I think he just makes the right play, gets the ball moving. This team shares the ball really well. I think you'll see that at times on Saturday, just how quickly it moves, even on the interior. They're looking for one another to create an easier shot, draw the defense, and kick. So it'll be a tough matchup for the Jays, I think, but one that they can have some success with if they're ready to go. And that actually leads into my first key for the Jays going into this weekend is the focus factor. We've seen with this team at times this year, it hasn't always been there. They haven't always had that edge. They're going to need it, obviously, in the NCAA tournament. You can't afford to play to bring your B game or C game. You have to bring your A game. It doesn't matter who you're playing in the NCAA tournament because anything can happen. So I just think that that piece of it, just being locked in from a scouting report standpoint, being engaged defensively, flying around, like it's every single guy sort of has to be hooked up. And I think that you've when the Jays have had that piece, like you think of the Villanova game in Omaha, where they were so connected, they moved off the ball really well in terms of rotating and getting to their spots. And they took away a lot of the things that Villanova likes to do. That's what Creighton needs, obviously, this weekend. So that piece has to be there, the focus element. Obviously it starts in practice with how they approach it, and we won't be there to monitor that and know how that goes, but that's where it begins. And if Creighton has the right approach, and can carry it over into Saturday, that'll obviously be huge. Because if you're locked in, if Creighton's locked in defensively and can force some stops, grab the board, and sort of ignite its offense that way, I think that. Obviously any team wants that. You need stops to win, right? But I feel like for Creighton, when it's stringing a couple stops together, 3 or 4 stops, like all of a sudden the game starts to flow. I feel like their offense maybe just hits another gear when they're, instead of grabbing the ball out of the net, Damian Jefferson has a board and he's outletting to Marcus Zagorowski, who catches it around half court, and suddenly they're on top of you that much faster than if they were to take the ball out of the net, and the opposing team were able to get guys back defensively. So focus, and it starts on defense for Creighton. If they're able to get some stops, that'll help. Second key is Denzel Mahoney. I thought he's had a string of really good games defensively, and he's made an impact there. He's helped Creighton with that focus factor. He'll be important there, but they need him to make shots. He's a dynamic scorer. He's been one of their top go-to guys all year offensively, and he's just kind of stuck in a rut from a shooting standpoint. Now, I will say, I thought I saw him maybe find a little bit of a rhythm after the COVID-19, or not the COVID-19 pause, related to COVID-19, the 11-day break that Creighton had in its schedule, where it was supposed to have some makeup games, but it didn't need any. So after the Jays beat Villanova, they took 11 days off. They got a chance to reset. And then it seemed like Denzel Mahoney was maybe finding a little bit of a groove. I think if you, up until the Georgetown game, you look at his shooting numbers, they're still okay. They're not as good as he's capable of. This guy shot 38% from 3 in Big East play last season. That's a pretty large sample size, right? Against elite competition. The Big East last year was one of the best conferences in the country, and he shot 38% from 3. And to see him, go 1 of 10 from Georgetown, and before that, like I was about to mention, that stretch of games starting with the DePaul game at the end of February up until Georgetown, he was 12 of 35 from 3, which is about 35%. Decent, but still, he's a guy who's capable of hitting 5 or 6 threes in a game. So getting his confidence back up, I think, is important. You saw sort of the signs of frustration from him when some of those shots he had, like, hit every part of the rim in Madison Square Garden, didn't drop, and then he finally hit one late in the game. It was a catch and shoot 3 at the end of the shot clock with a hand in his face. Actually, one of the maybe more tough shots he had that game, and he knocked it down, and there was a sigh of relief there. So hands to the sky, almost like thank you. So getting him going, I think, is important for Creighton, because when teams are scouting the Jays and they're looking at, okay, what can we take away? It starts with Marcus Zagorowski and Christian Bishop's ability to make one-on-one plays on the inside, and you got to have a guy who's glued to Mitch Ballock and not giving him any room. So that leaves Damian Jefferson and Denzel Mahoney space for those guys. And a lot of times it means that they're going to get open looks from three. And they're both really good shooters. And Denzel Mahoney's proven he's just in a little bit of a slump here. So getting him on track, helping him sort of build that confidence is important for the Jays. He's my number 2 key. Lastly, it's kind of vague here, but it's like the bench impact. Third key, the impact of Creighton's bench. And I don't know what form that's going to be, and whether it's just a spark in terms of emotion and effort, or if it's actually somebody scoring, or if it's a dude coming off the bench and grabbing 3 or 4 rebounds in a 6-minute stretch. They just need a sort of a positive boost from those guys who've shown it at times, for sure, but they're just a little bit inexperienced as compared to the veterans that the Jays start with. So they've had kind of an up and down year. Alex O'Connell has had his moments, and so is Antoine Jones, and obviously Ryan Kalkbrenner, Sharif Mitchell. Like, those guys have been key contributors. But there also have been games when the Jays haven't had a lot of production from the reserve. So the boost that they can provide, again, it doesn't necessarily have to be scoring. It can be facilitating or making a big time play defensively, or, like I said, grabbing boards. I think that's going to be key. And as kind of a subplot to that is the health of Sharif Mitchell. He got hit in the head in Friday's game against UConn. He did not play Saturday against Georgetown, and he's still being monitored as the Jays begin this week of preparation for UC Santa Barbara. So we'll see what his status is as the Jays get closer to Saturday. He's one of those guys that several times this year has been the spark off the bench that's helped change the complexion of the game. If maybe the starters are stuck in a rut, or the game doesn't begin the way that the Jays would like, all of a sudden you insert Sharif Mitchell and he changes things. So he obviously has the potential to do that, but so do the other guys with Kalkbrenner. A couple big time blocks from Kalkbrenner, or Alex O'Connell coming in and hitting a 3, or Antoine Jones grabbing a couple boards, making a play defensively, finding a guy. They all have a way to impact the game, and so Creighton's going to need that boost from those guys to get a couple wins this weekend and break through, because obviously that's what this weekend is about, right? This team, this veteran squad has done a lot. It's accomplished a lot in the regular season. The last 2 regular seasons, done things that nobody has done in a Creighton uniform before. But it's March now, and this is where legacies get defined in the NCAA tournament in college basketball. A little unfair because the tournament is so unpredictable and doesn't make a whole lot of sense sometimes, the outcomes, but this is when all the eyes are on you. And so it's up to Creighton's players to step up in the moment and perform in the spotlight. So we'll see if they can do it. And like I said, I think focus is key. Unlocking Denzel Mahoney from a scoring standpoint. He's brought it defensively, but getting him going as a scorer again will be important, and getting some sort of boost from the bench. Those are my 3 keys for the Jays going into this weekend. We'll see how they do there and how they do with their matchups. Plenty more to get to as it relates to game 1 of the NCAA tournament. I'll have tons of stories on the Jays in advance of that game, and obviously coverage from Indianapolis. I will be there to follow the team and report back on what they think of their performance. And if they win, we'll continue to provide tons of game coverage throughout the NCAA tournament. So again, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Tell your friends, let them know. Plenty of Creighton coverage here at the Omaha World-Herald. So I appreciate you guys. Have a good one.